Hi there, YouTube. My name is Simon, and today I'm going to be presenting or sharing with you guys a video on Jupiter in Cancer and how it has been affecting us on Earth at this point in time. And today, basically, I'm trying to bring through some insights that I've just recently had through this transit, and to share some awareness and to bring some insight into our daily lives regarding this beautiful expression of energy that has been, like I said, been with us for almost a year now. With Jupiter in Cancer, to begin with, its journey has been with us since last year, roughly around about June, July, when it's transited or moved out from Gemini and into the sign Cancer. And for a lot of us, the transition was kind of emotional in some way, as Cancer is a water sign. And I think that we've kind of gotten over the initial periods or things that have been what Jupiter in Cancer has been speaking about. And I think today is one of those times in which the more deeper and more profound, more sort of deeper understandings of this energy can be expressed. So that's what my intent is today, to share some insights and some understandings about this. I hope that it's encouraging in some way for everybody out there to feel inspired and insightful, and in some way, shape or form engaged to help for the betterment of humanity, basically. So before I sort of go on to some descriptions or what ideas that I have about the symbol, to share some awareness, I'd like to basically explain, what Jupiter and Sagittarius in the ninth house is in the sense of astrology. And a lot of descriptions have been about it being a sign of higher learning and expansion, etc., etc., and that is the case. But the thing is, though, is that ultimately Jupiter correlates and specifically relates to intuition and the intuitive self and Mother Nature and natural laws that exist within our universe. Okay. And when I say natural laws, I'm talking about the natural ways in which we, as anything exists in nature in itself, okay, and those behavior patterns, versus, say, for instance, the logical sort of left brain laws that have been implemented and put in place by man, okay, so we call them sort of like man-made laws, or the patriarchal times. So Jupiter very much connects to the intuitive sense of self, intuitive understanding, connecting to a space where you just know what it is and how it works, and are in some way, shape or form expressing an energy that isn't deeply, deeply understood. One way to understand this energy in itself is for those of us that have learned to ride a bike, for instance. After a period of time, we are able to intuitively understand and navigate our way on a bicycle without even having to think about it. So that's the kind of Jupiter experience. It's once we've got to something and we intuitively understand it and know it, we do it without thinking. And it's something like that expression, you never forget to learn or forget to ride a bike. So Jupiter correlates specifically to that, okay? So natural laws, the matriarchy, the feminine, the divine, the natural ways of existing, okay? And in the sign of Cancer, okay, Cancer being a water sign, for instance, and part of the zodiac that correlates to the womb, and to the mother of mother nurturing, the home, our community, our grassroots. And I think that's the word that I'm really trying to sort of allow us to vibrate on, is that it's grassroots, it's the roots, it's our cult, it's our tribe that Cancer rules, because it's where we are firmly rooted in, and which is why our home, for instance, will correlate to that, will specifically relate to that. It's because we come home to that space every single day after, say, for instance, working, and it's where we can be free, where we can feel relaxed, and where we can feel at home, as it were. So when these two sort of energies meet with each other, there is this wonderful, beautiful expression of feminine energy working, very soft and nurturing and protective energy working through the sign of nourishment and sense of self, and a sense of inner security and softness and protectiveness and remembrance and emotion and such. And when we are, as human beings, expressing or feeling this energy and expressing through ourselves, there is a million ways that this can be seen. But unfortunately, for a large part of human existence, we've been living in patriarchal times where our natural ways of existence have been sort of like, not brought forward, and a lot of our sense of self and sense of nourishment and sense of how we as human beings exist on the planet has been affected negatively by this. And so Jupiter in Cancer, relative to what's going on our planet at this point in time, is actually starting to now allow us to become more intuitively connected to Mother Earth, okay, to nature, to her and how she is feeling, okay. And I think it's a beautiful opportunity for human beings to embrace a sense of how we can connect to our inner sense of self that essentially is our life force, and through that connection intuitively start to repair some of the sort of damage that has happened to Earth and to ourselves, as Earth is a beautiful expression or a reflection of how we are treating ourselves in that way. And it's about being open to these new understandings and this feminine energy that is exploring and allowing us to intuitively connect to this space and to heal in some way. And so by listening to this video, for instance, and a lot of the stuff I'm trying to bring through to you guys is to try and help us think more along the lines of, like, every time we are wanting to improve our lives in some way, to embrace the Jupiter and Cancer energy by seeing how we can change or improve or naturally find routines that can help us create stability in our emotional spaces, okay. If it means for all of us to explore this, whatever it means to us, and to connect to that space where we can sort of find a better way of nourishing our own bodies, for instance, and connecting to that more natural way of being, to be in harmony with it. I think that Jupiter in Cancer in another way is kind of helping the evolution of the planet at this stage, and especially consciousness. Human beings we have been experiencing what is called the Pluto through Capricorn transit since 2008, and a lot of our reality has been exposed to the corruption within the banking systems, within the financial sector, which is this thing over there. We've become aware of how the governments have been, in a sense, being a little bit sort of selfish, and we've become aware and awakened to the old patterns of way of being, and them not being in line with Mother Nature, with natural ways of being, etc. And we're sort of connecting to that space. And so Jupiter and Cancer kind of like invites us to become aware of natural ways of nourishing ourselves, okay. So a lot of the energy that's come through has inspired us to grow more about how to do things like reconstruct the farming patterns that allow us to grow our crops and our foods, okay. So a lot of information has come through about expanding the way that we do that, trying to eliminate as many chemicals as possible from the harvesting process, from the growing process, from the crop production process, so that our foods can become more natural, so that when we are consuming this, we are, in a sense, treating our bodies as an organic organism, which it is, it's biological. And so it's about trying to align ourselves with foods that are less sort of chemically based, okay, and trying to find more nourishment within our foods, more nutrition within our foods. So there's a lot of information about trying to understand this process and rediscovering it. And this is what Jupiter's doing, is it's sort of expanding this process. So I'm asking you guys to, in some way, shape, or form, try to do the same thing. Try to spot where you are able to find more natural ways of supporting your body. Okay, whatever that might represent to you. It can mean many things to many people. As an example, I can give, for instance, the ways that we're choosing the foods that we eat. As you can see on the right hand side over there, I've sort of set up a couple of suggestions. So, for instance, try to focus or try to support your local farmer, for instance, for any of his crop growing things, and by that you're aiding his financial stability, which in a sense is going to be able to allow him to sustain himself, and then also to sustain you by providing you with some sort of local and natural ingredients that is grown from your specific area, and that being something that's kind of bringing everything back to its original point, bringing back to the tribe sort of mentality and behavior, where you're supporting things that are local around you versus something that has been mass produced in another part of the world. Now, of course, a lot of our foods, depending on where you live in the world, are not naturally grown there, for instance, right? So obviously we're going to have to import, and I understand that completely. But if you can try to support your local farmer, for instance, and sort of like embrace that type of thinking and such. We're looking at trying to embrace more organic foods through our processes, trying to support food trade markets that are fair towards the other tribes and communities that exist outside of our own borders, for instance, okay, and be conscious of those processes and allow us to support that in some way. Okay, and I think that we have been doing this for quite some time, and Jupiter through Cancer has been kind of like expanding our awareness a little bit more about this. In fact, this has been quite a lot. We've become a lot more aware of the nature of how these things are operating, and it's about taking advantage of those things. Okay, Jupiter in Cancer can also, in some way, shape, or form, help us become more aware of building our communities with a sense of natural laws infused in it. Okay, and that process for us is taking on some sense of responsibility about our community in some way, and being part of that process of building everything from the grassroots up. So the world at the moment is it's got a lot of trauma and tragedy in it and such, and obviously as human beings it's not natural for us to be experiencing that stuff. So I think it's really important for us to stand up and take some responsibility for ourselves and for our community in some way and help. And it doesn't necessarily mean dedicating your whole life to it. It just means just a little odd thing, and it will be probably mainly appreciated, and it is ultimately the solution, I believe, in this case, when it comes to changing the way that our reality and our worlds are looking at our point. And it's every little bit helps, I think, and part of this process is supported by Jupiter in Cancer, because it's kind of like allowing the energy is kind of allowing us to raise our vibration in this area. One of the most beautiful expressions that I heard about how transits work, how energy transits work, is that it's like the day and night sequence. The transits, so Jupiter will move through Cancer for a year, and this energy will be expanding this field of consciousness. And it's like a sun. The sun rises throughout the day, and you experience the whole day, and then it goes down at night. But you are still left with what the day was like, how you experienced it, that awareness. And it's the same thing with Jupiter in Cancer in this particular instance, is that we're sort of becoming aware of how we can sort of improve our ways of nourishing ourselves for the betterment of our own emotional stabilities and understandings and ways of being, and increasing the love vibration that exists within the human consciousness, and exploring those aspects through the Cancer archetype. And one of those ways that can work for us is about reconnecting with our community, and in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't, it can be the simplest of things, but the good deed is really the point over here. And so it's supporting that, and I'm trying to sort of like share this information out there to try and do the same thing, in some way, shape, or form. And I think on a sort of more personal scale, Jupiter in Cancer is one of those beautiful energies that allows us to reconnect with our own roots, with our own sort of sense of culture in that way, and our tribe. So the home and the family becomes a greater sort of place for us to heal and to find a sense of security and sense of inner nourishment, emotional nourishment. So spending time with our family more, and being open to the idea of how much it actually does make us feel so much more connected to something. So Jupiter in Cancer can be definitely sort of, allowing us to find peace in that space. So if you can, take out the sort of the photo albums, for instance, and spend some time looking at some old photos and reminiscing some amazing times that you've had with your family, for instance, and appreciate the beauty in what it is, and how amazing it is to have such a close sort of connection to another human being, or to another human beings, and to really appreciate that, because it's like that type of vibration that allows us to feel more satisfied and allows us to feel more engaged in our world, and to feel more, that there's a purpose. And it's that experience of raising our vibration through that love energy that allows us to action and to find more to life, So it's a really sort of powerful message that Jupiter in Cancer is offering, and it's about being able to connect to that space. And I think that one of the most beautiful things that I can sort of share with Jupiter in Cancer, relative to what is happening in our planet today, is the ability to know that we, as the 99%, as it were, right, have the power to take back the way that the world, can be, and part of that process is acknowledging that it is about building from the bottom up again, having a strong foundation. And that strong foundation within our consciousness, within our humanity, within our experience of being human beings, is about understanding the emotional nature. It's about understanding the softness, the connectedness, the tribe feeling, the community sense. And it's that process ultimately that's going to be evolving us for the next sort of 10 to 14 years, with the symbol Pluto transiting Capricorn. It's the opposite side of Capricorn that is Cancer in our the archetype of Cancer. So it's about evolving through the emotional body, evolving through the grassroots, it's evolving through the community, it's evolving through our sense of where our home is, which is why on the right hand side you can see such a picture over there where I said the home, the hearth, and humanity. Now the home relates to our home on Earth, right? This is our home. Earth is our home. And the hearth being inside of ourselves, right? Which is essentially the same thing. The home and hearth is the same thing, but it is inside of ourselves. And humanity being what it is that we're going to be, that connects us to that space, being human and being naturally human and connecting to that love vibration. And it is all those collective sort of like feelings and beings that is really, really sort of the message with Jupiter in Cancer, and sort of through me as well, that I'm asking you guys to sort of to encourage, and a lot of us are already doing this type of work. A lot of us that are watching this video probably know about this stuff already. This, for you guys, that's more of a sort of encouragement to continue and to do the work, because it is really up to us to rebuild the earth and home again the way that we wanted it to be, and to move away from multinational sort of like corporation companies that are after sort of the big bucks and are not really paying attention to us in some way, and about repairing our grassroots and connecting back to home and finding the love vibration that exists there, and about doing it through supporting movements that are organic based, organic movement based, supporting your natural homotherapy sort of like websites and people that are doing a lot of work in that area, the plant energy in that way, and about finding a sense of how to nourish myself emotionally on a more personal level, and asking yourself those questions and allowing that to be the sort of driving force behind your life. Okay. And I think that if we start to sort of embrace these these ways of being, we're going to start to see the effects later on in life, and we've got to keep with it. We've got to stay with it. We've got to constantly keep on working at it, every single day, every single month, every single year, until we get to a point where we can actually start to see the effects. Now, one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys that has just recently been coming up actually is the Venus Project. By the Zeitgeist movement and their process of organically growing plants and foods within biodomes that are sort of ergonomically designed and have an ecological sort of approach to it, where there's Mother Nature being involved and not applying sort of chemicals and such, and moving away from that type of thinking and more to something that is nourishing and nurturing, that is going to support us ultimately and heal our emotional bodies. Okay, and then through that Mother Earth, okay, because she ultimately is just going to at some point, say enough is enough, and we got to be sort of prepared for knowing that we can't damage her, that we got to be protecting, just like we protect the Mother Nature and the Mother Gaia, for instance. It's the same thing. It's the womb that we're all existing, that we're living in, and it's about taking that and that responsibility in as well, and understanding it. So I think, honestly, guys, from the point of view of Jupiter and Cancer, for instance, these are the kind of sort of like messages and thoughts and psychological ways of being that I could like try to encourage and suggest. Looking after our planet, and more personally our home, like I said, and building a new way of looking at ourselves by taking care of our inner self, which is reflected through Earth in itself. So yeah, I hope this video was inspiring in some way. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos on just astrology. If you guys are interested in understanding astrology on a more deeper way, I've noticed that a lot of us are discovering more about how astrology works, but we're sort of lacking that astrological or astrologer's insight. So I'm going to be providing that as well. I have a website called simonforster.com, which is where I do most of my work, for instance. There's a newsletter over there that you can sign up to, which I'll send out. I create some monthly content for everybody's monthly forecasts and what to look out for, and so on and so forth. And also I have my Facebook page as well, so come over there and check out what I'm doing over there. And if you're interested in astrology readings and such, I do those. Everything is on my website. And if you're wanting to know more about what work that I'm doing, like I said, is on that page. So thanks very much, guys. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe, share as much as you can. And I do honestly appreciate everything that you do for supporting this content. Until then, take care. Thanks very much. Goodbye.